guys. Local John 1812 and
J-Rod 84.
Sports Talk right here. If you guys haven't seen us, do us a favor real quick before we get going on sports topics, such as for Kentucky Wildcats and more. Go ahead and like,
subscribe,
comment,
and share.
We need you to do those things. That way everybody else can keep hearing what we got to say about what Kentucky's doing and other sports activities. Last week we previewed a little bit of NFL and some other stuff. So if you ain't watched that yet, go back and watch it, right, Jay?
Yeah.
That's right. Now, Kentucky had a basketball game last night. Who'd they play?
Georgetown College. It was the first exhibition game of the season.
First exhibition game of the season. We were short, and when I say short, I mean height. We had 3 of our 7-footers not in the game, but Kentucky still managed to win the game by 23 points. They put up a Jordan on them. That's what I call that, when you win by 23. So to put up 23 points, that team was coming from they come off a Final Four in their conference. Yeah. What was it?
Yes, it was NAIA.
NAIA, that's what it was. Come off a Final Four appearance in that. Not to say that should have been any excuse or anything, but still a 23-point win is a 23-point win when you're short 21 feet of athleticism and defense. You might have some hiccups, but I thought it was a pretty good thing. Hey, Jay, why don't you go ahead and do us a favor? We're going to read into these stats about the Kentucky game, and guess what? Hang in there, because after we get done recapping this game, we're going to go into Kentucky versus Tennessee. You're going to want to hear that, but let's get into this recap of last night's basketball game.
Okay. You see them. So of course, as you all know, Kentucky ended up. It was a 1-point game at halftime, but Kentucky got pulled away in the second half for the 92-69 victory.
That's right.
They got a lot of freshmen mixed in, with maybe some veterans. Trey Mitchell's 22 led the way with 22 points. Also had 9 boards, 3 blocks, 2 assists. Antonio Reeves, basically the sharpshooter returning from last year, he had 18. Fresh Rob Dillingham, he had 16. Adu Thiero, he did very good. 10 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals.
All-around game there.
Yeah. Justin Edwards, he chipped in 9 points and 8 boards. He had scoring from Reed Shepard, Jordan Burks, DJ Wagner. Wagner only had 4 points, 4 boards, and maybe 2 steals. But, it was basically like his first collegiate game. That's basically just what, let's say for a lot of these freshmen, I'm like, look, this is their first kind of like, collegiate game. So, don't expect them, just
snap right into it.
Snap and just go off in the first game.
Tell me if you agree with this. I think Wagner's game a little bit is going to be a little bit of more penetration and stop and do that jump shot. I think when he can get that penetration going good and gets some good layups, it'll run out good for him. I think that's going to get better when he gets those 7-footers along with Trey Mitchell to be in there and move Mitchell away from the 5. Mitchell's not a 5. He's more of a 4. Maybe even sometimes if he got a little bit better with some of his athleticism and ball handling, could be a 3, a wing. So,
could be.
Yeah, so really when we get the 7-footers in, we're going to see more of what this team really can be. Unfortunately for us, I don't think it's going to be before the Kansas game. We're going to be wishful thinking that we get Big Z at least. They clear him and get him in there. But everybody else who's battling those injuries, I think it's going to be after Kansas. So we're going to have to do a lot of work here with what we have coming up. And that's okay. That's okay. I still think it was a good game. There was one stat in the stat box. It was, where they show like points off fast break and that type of stuff. Second chance opportunities. It was 12 for the opposing team and 12 for Kentucky. And I think if you look at that, that goes back to the idea of not having those other bigs in there to get those boards and create the space needed for our guards to get in and come in and grab layups and lay them back in. And so I just think second chance killed us last night, where we shouldn't have been 12-12. It probably should have been a little bit more lopsided in Kentucky's favor. So I was pleased about the game, though. I wasn't upset. It's the first game against actual competition besides themselves. They did have some overseas this year, but I'm just talking about in-state play with in the states play. I wasn't upset. I thought it was good. It could be better, but it would have been better. I put it this way: if Bradshaw and Big Z were playing, and maybe Uganda, definitely if Uganda was playing for sure too, but not lumping him in, it's meaning Bradshaw and Big Z are the most quicker to come back apparently than Uganda. I would say Kentucky, you could probably add at least 10 more points to the score for Kentucky's favor. I think you could probably add in our second chance category maybe 4 to the second chance, which would give Kentucky that 16-12 advantage. And then I also think in the rebounding area, Kentucky probably would have had about at least 6 more rebounds. And that's not going overboard. That's all I'm basically saying is that you Big Z and Bradshaw would have scored 5 points and got 3 rebounds each. I think that's fair to say. I really do. So in that situation, then Kentucky wins 102, right? And they don't win by 23. They win by 33. And then they out-rebounded by more. So we can say what we want about this game, but the reality is Kentucky's not full strength, and they still won by 23. Wait until they get full strength. Right? All right, so that's the first segment is done, and now let's get into football. Football is important today. The Cats play the Volunteers to lose. I mean, Tennessee Volunteers. And we have to hope they volunteer to lose this game because the Cats can't take a loss, can they, Jay?
Well, I mean, look, they really can. I mean, they've lost their last 2, and it's been known, under the Stoops that they necessarily don't do that well after the bye week.
They're not an Andy Reid situation like the Chiefs are after a bye week. Totally different, right?
I said no, it's different.
It's different.
Not to say this team doesn't have the talent to win tonight. I mean, because they do, but I mean, they just all have to be in sync with each other. Just like we were saying a couple of weeks ago, the receiving corps, the wide receivers and the tight ends, they all have to be in sync, with Leary.
Yes.
I said they all have to.
Right.
And I mean to say defensively they haven't been too bad. I mean, let's say
just not good enough.
I've been just not good enough to
just
win
not
the
good
last
enough.
2 weeks.
That's
I
right.
said, well, granted, I think Kentucky still has the second best rush defense in the conference, only allowing 96 yards on the ground.
So they're doing good on the ground. They just have some other issues.
Yeah, I mean to say this. I just see, we just kind of like maybe the secondary.
Mm-hmm. They need, defensive back and safeties need to step up.
I say, they need to step up.
That's true.
Let's see, Missouri didn't necessarily. They didn't go crazy down the field, but they did a lot of those like short passes that just really, the Kentucky really just couldn't keep up with.
They always say there's more than one way to skin a cat, and unfortunately, Georgia and Missouri has figured out a way to skin a cat twice, or once each. Obviously, the last 2 weeks. So now we're coming into play. We're at home. That's the good news. We're at home.
Yeah.
Playing Tennessee. I know Tennessee is a better opponent. They're a better team than Missouri. They are a better team than Missouri. So this would be a bigger win than winning against Missouri. So this is big for us to beat Tennessee today. And if we don't win, that's 3 in a row. Who do we have after Missouri?
And that's, like I said, the back half of the schedule is not even, like I said, the Cats have Tennessee this week. Next week they go to Mississippi State. Then they host Alabama. Then they go to South Carolina and then to Louisville. None of these games are given.
None of them. So you got to take care of business. You got to try to hold serve at home right now.
Yeah.
Because we got 5 wins, right?
Yes.
And so if we don't, I'm telling you, is there a possibility? People don't want to say this. No one really wants to talk about it just yet. But there is a possibility, and I don't like to speak negatively, but there is a possibility the Cats could almost lose every game the rest of the season.
They
could.
Be.
We don't want to speak that. I'm not trying to speak it on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying in reality. But then again, the Cats could win every game of the rest of the season. If they played better. Maybe they could. Maybe they could find a way to win games. So definitely today is something you got to really try to take care of. I think you got to hit it hard. I don't think you can have a slow start. I'm not saying Tennessee is some octane high performance team, but when you're coming off 2 losses in a row, you need to hit it hard as soon as you can coming out the gate.
I say it exactly. I say this isn't the Tennessee team from last year.
Right.
As they had Herndon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt, which basically just tore up the field last year. Like I said, this Tennessee team it's different.
It's different.
But that doesn't mean that the Cats can slack off. They still got to go out there and play clean, disciplined football for the whole 60 minutes.
That's right. Speaking of the game, I'm going to go ahead and give my MVP prediction. Mark Stoops said, I think it was in a press conference or interview, he said he was not going to change up the scheme of how they're playing right now. He's going to still continue with trying to develop and get that passing game going because he believes it. I believe that is somewhat true, but I think he will completely lean a little bit more on that offensive line and that running game. So I'm going to give my MVP, co-MVP, to the offensive line and Davis today. I think they will get the job done. Who's your MVP?
I think I agree. I see. It's been a rough couple of games for Ray Davis.
Yep.
But I think today he kind of breaks out of that slump.
They'll control the clock. They'll get some yards. Now let's go into predictions. If they do what Jay and I are thinking with the MVP and control that clock and let Davis get going and let that offensive line work and then hit Leary getting some good passes and the receivers actually catching it, guess what? I think the Cats win by 3 big ones. 3 points. I think the Cats win on a final drive, 3 points. And it'll be a nice field goal. It'll go in and give the Cats a victory. Now, if they don't lean on that run game, I'll definitely say the Cats will lose by 10. But I'll give 3 today as my prediction because I think they will lean on the run. What do you think?
I think it'll be a close game as well. I'd say maybe 3 points.
3 points. You're going to go in the Cats' favor if they run, and then if they don't run, Fall's favor?
Yeah, I think they went somewhere between the 3 to 7 point range.
Yep. So you have our MVPs and you have our predictions. The crazy thing is we just don't know which way Mark Stoops and the whole offensive team will go. Now we're going to hope that they do the right thing and go the correct way, but that's why they play the game. That's why they play it. So
True.
We'll see. What time's the game start tonight?
6.
Is it on, what channel is it on?
ESPN.
ESPN. We get the offer. That's sitting on our screen. It's on ESPN, so it's going to be interesting to see. We're here back in the confines of our recording studio. No, they're having another trunk or treat event here, so if you guys hear the background, hey, it's good to have fun with we talked about the Kentucky basketball and the Kentucky football. That's all we have for you guys. Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
comment,
and share.
Until next time, guys.
All right.
Happy sports watching. Go CATS. Cats. Peace, y'all.
See y'all later.